just need it. It's the weekend, going to be, yeah, so a respite center. Okay, so the thing I'm gonna do the AI Dungeon Respite Center in the style of Richard Dadd, who was an artist who was institutionalized because for killing his father, and made really meticulous paintings of fantasy thingies, which should be interesting. What would he think about the Respite Center? Would he dig it? Oh yeah, so here we are. Doing it. Hello. Turn off your phones. I don't want to hear it. Aww, look at that Respite dog. Respite dog with the doughy eyes that are kind of eerie. Lord, something's amiss. Something that has infinite adventures await. What? No. 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 I already know this. I logged in. Stop starting me. Oh, I'm being a little bit like Linda Hunting. Why? Don't lock me out. Damn it. Continue gaming.
Hasn't caught up to it yet? 2 doors are in front of you, light against the face of each. One has a red adult sign over it, one has a green adult sign over it. There really is no bad decision here. In it what you think is the present, this door leads you to the elevators which bring you to the baggage claim, and then outside where a hot xeric wind blows a fine dust in your eyes and this thin.
Neither door. And instead, opt for the yellow adult sign and the door underneath it.
As you imagine it, but you go through neither door, and instead opt for the yellow adult sign and the door underneath it. Question mark. So if you are in fact already inherently part of this joke, go back to the start of this paragraph and redo everything you've done since then. See what results in the best comparison before putting yourself in the shoes of someone experiencing this for the first time as it was intended to be experienced, and read through this again as that person. You give your father a big hug. Oh, you are the nicest boomer dad. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you kick the yellow adult door open. Thanked by the likes of you, I decide to indulge in a corny joke. No, son. Thank you.
I decide to indulge.
Father, you taught me what it means for the apprentice Buddha to kill the master Buddha should they touch motorcycles at the McDonald's. Off to kill God kids, I'll be back by lunch. Master Buddha, hope in his immense wisdom that you in your religion shall be deeply influenced by the teachings of Mr. Buffett, but until later, have fun. Like I did. You pull up a chair and watch your dad push buttons and wave his hands around to show gadgets the intent of which you will never know. When he's finished playing with the remote control he looks at you and smiles. And now, we wait. He pours himself an Ovaltine through the powdered thresher. You want some? You make a silly face and wave him off while you think to yourself what an idiot adults are. Think they know everything just because they've crested 20, it's an embarrassment really. You didn't really know at 20 he was old, but all the superheroes seemed to think that way, so it must be right. So what is this stuff anyway? Dad? Gauze and things that Margit some years back. We were both graduates of Tinker You They MacGyver, the underlying forces of the universe. For what purpose I have no idea, and am told probably the same job that brought down the Union government some years back. Dad is in love with this smart person. She died years back, but she's still cooking for him it seems. He beams when he mentions her. Maybe one day I'll meet her, she seems pretty cool. You relax in your comfy chair and watch Dad read his papers, above the fireplace. Dad looks up from his Reader's Digest and stares upside down at you. So, what would you like for supper? I can ask Ma to get it, but you'd need to step outside a bit. I still don't think it would be wise for you to breathe the same air. Tech stuff you wouldn't understand. I'll also take this time to remind you that last month, before all this mess blew up, she whacked the spare cabbage. Don't know why she keeps doing that really. Cabbage. Yeah. By cabbage, the culture of this story means day workers. Sad, really. Other meanings are long lost to memory after dumbed down, no offense. Days in history started as light entertainment for the former kings of England centuries before now, rich, beautiful stories lost with the decaying hand-me-downs of a once powerful nation. Richard Dadd was originally from there. The stories have all been telephoned down into a casting sheet for a shooting day that no one knows ever got shot. The real stories are practically lost on a cutting room floor of craft services, filled with one-liners. It's sort of like if the director in a film called all the shots, and the writer was drunk the whole time. And it sucks. You see, the boss has no idea what they're doing, neither does anyone else. And yet, the magic of filmmaking amidst the chaos somehow brought together Jacques Tati's playtime into its wholeness. Like, the playtime you see on screen isn't the playtime that was script first. If so, the film would have made no sense. No matter how confusing it is, playtime at least does make sense on some odd level, if only an abstract one. But what is this writing? It's pretty confusing if you don't understand the preface to basic literacy. Magnolia Dargis, Sayokay, here's the history of filmmaking from 1893 to the present day. Filmmaking used to be easy. When it was founded by the Lumiere brothers back in the 1880s, they bought some land and built some huts. They needed to give it a purpose, so Papa Lumiere got harebrained. He bought thousands of hats, and once the ticket was at mix, he would pick a hat out of the box. Inside the hat was a ticket given to a freaky bearded lady, or a bullfighter in another section. We have conferences about was he pre-sadist or just Spanish ill. Either way it could mean death. Later on they input films manually, and this evolved through the use of sound as microphones appeared slowly. That brings us on to 1927, when a devilish Uncle Sam was at large, killing and robbing vagabonds worldwide. He was America's most infamous criminal. Many were hurt by him, dozens died in the most gruesome of ways. The government were tired of hearing victims screaming in agony. It was high time he got his comeuppance. Until then, he was sitting on a goldmine scattered with mindless entertainment, and rinsing as many penny-pinching hopefuls as possible. Like a fountain overflowing with cause weeping from its greed, silver-plated and suitable for currency. The media kept mum and all picked up their phones to dial 1-800-film. Slightest sense of panic. You call this 100% top secret a fabrication by those jealous of your success and liken me as working for those trying to bring you down, but your own opinion a meaningless one weighing less than a newly hatched chichira. I correct you as politely as I can and pose the question, where would film be if not for the variety? No more corny films full of cowboys and Indians, no depressing documentaries about slaughterhouses, no hilarious Herbie the Love Bug films. Everyone would agree that a world without them is no kind of world at all. You surely didn't mind seeing Frankenstein, even though it made you cry. No Disney films? No, thank you. Once I heard one of your writers speak at a college, only roses that bloom in concrete. That's the kind of crap that would never fly nowadays with everyone's easily offended sensibilities. This writer fell so out of work he went on to do adult movies. Soon, no man will be courageous enough to be an adult filmmaker. That is where I come in, cleaning up after your human mess once again. Now you ask if we can stop talking about you for a moment. Rather ironic and fascistic, isn't it? What's with all these fucking dots? This is called a pause, an interlude, an intermission from horrors of a challenging world. You'll either read them or not, your choice. I know I will. You read all of the ellipses again. It's been a month since you first saw that darn period 3,874 times, but it still seems like mocking now more than ever. This choice was supposed to be yours. You reread it, hoping perhaps this time you'll get on the other side of the screen, and end up in a whole new story. Seeing as that hasn't happened, you decide against reading them all again and restart the script. After feeding the script into your Vitamix Cuisinart, and then meticulously piecing together the shreds, you tape it back together and place the cardboard box full of bananas by your front door. This, surely, will mask any smell the paper may give off. After tweeting your location to over 17 million people for Monarch Watch, an initiative that tracks the recent massive monarch migration, you climb into bed before 7:30 p.m. and fall asleep. You awake at midnight, stumble out of bed, grab the box of bananas, and then stride to your door. of further scrawled their rewrites onto the script, as planned. You begin to read. After reading a full page of their handwriting, you slam the door shut and throw the box of bananas against your wall. The Yellow Card Clan has been after you for years. You always find them and they never find you. Also, they're absolute lunatics. Normally, you'd make smithereens out of bananas and then tear this up. This time, though, you make a different choice. You pick up your phone and dial 911. Hello. What is your emergency? I need you to listen to this newly lepidopterized scream. The next few minutes see you wildly talk excitedly about weird politics and dangerous social ideologies attributed to fictional butterflies. When you finish, in a much calmer tone, you say, "So this is why I needed to call you." Again, this screenplay is enclosed. It shouldn't be. It needs to stay with me. And the butterflies should be eliminated. You send your paper ballistic script through your phone and read it on the other end. Here's my email. Now, if you don't mind, the cleansing mist begin. Monarchy in the USA. The call continues for a few more minutes, with you typing notes and clarifications as the police read them out. Before long, they're winding up the conversation. Well, that's it. We could send someone round, but I'm guessing the paper ballistics should wear off by tomorrow morning. The weird political ideologies won't wear off as quickly. I'll call you back in the unlikely event I'd radicalize. Perfect. Enjoy your politics. You hang up. Well, that was fun. After a quick scroll through Twitter, you get bored and restless. Time to pull out the whiskey. Tempered with Mountain Dew, you don't want to go overboard. You pace yourself, knocking back a bottle every hour. The next morning, you wake up feeling great.
Wow. You
grab the paper ball off your head and hop in the shower. Feeling refreshed, you walk downstairs to grab an icicle from the freezer. But from across the room, you catch sight of something in the kitchen. You run in to investigate. Indeed, an entire family of monarchs has taken shelter inside your freezer. Can I help you? You manage to squeak. No response, so you try again. Can I help you? More silence from the lizards. This is killing you. Do you speak English? You reach over and shut the freezer door, causing a blanket of frost to evaporate around you, mumbling, "Do any of you, like, speak English?" Getting frustrated, you start pulling on your hair. But right then one of them wakes up. Hey you, I just called ICE, they'll be on their way shortly. You better get a move on. Slowly, and with much difficulty, they manage to open the door. You're not really immigrants, you know. You came here on a ship, so you have as much right to be here as I do. They manage to make it out of the door. Last one out gives you a little wave before slamming it shut. You better not take my job. Or you better not get better at my job. See you at work tomorrow. You raise your voice to try to carry into the hall. But nobody answers back. What kind of representation is that? It's not fair. With no answer to be heard, you realize that you'll at least get some privacy for the rest of the day. The bathroom mirror reflects a man broken by politics and hatred, and his absence of response tells a lot about the state of quantitative sciences in this city. And the layer underneath the mirror tells the 81st Precinct a lot about the quality of their surveillance equipment and the camera, but you can relax now, in a way. You're part of a social experiment. The government wants to see how surveillance affects how society works and whether it breaks it. It all leads back to that phone call. They wanted to know about your experience living under these conditions and how it affects your life. And no one knows what the results are, yet. Oh right, because the person is still on the line. You forgot, you got distracted. Sorry, but I'm back now. The person says, "Tell me about the decision you just made," and lifts your mood with just that one phrase. He knows everything, he sees everything, and he's on your side. Tell him everything. And you mean everything. Including the anchovies. And the bric-a-brac. And the wasabi faroni sandwich. And the turtle dropping stir-fry. And the sweet and sour space mold, with extra space ginger. And the deserted candy bar pie, filled with chunks of ginger, acolyte and Husima wants it.
Husima wants it.
And the lunch of deacon battered kamelt with extra ketchup and sweet and sour sauce. And the cookie? The person calmly says, everything that you can remember, tell me about that. You try to remember every detail of the cookie, from the scent released upon cracking open its glossy shell to its crisp texture and chewy center. It's a chocolate chip oatmeal cookie. And your boy's Bible study class, so it was a chocolate chip oatmeal cookie, so it heated slightly of bleach. And it was really crunchy, and could break through glass. But the ANCAP superhero couldn't save you from having to tell him about your train of thought that day. Because you are obsessively TMI like that. And you say, well, if you really want to know, it involved the structural integrity of this building. You struggle through your diarrhea of the mind to explain. Not unpredictably, one of the bad guys I'm trying to bust is a master architect and engineer, and given that he has full knowledge of the building's structural plans, he can inform his underlings how to pack it so as to cause the maximum damage with just the weaponry they have available. After some thought, the person presses a button on their pod which sends out a packet of information to you. Ah yes, policy number, right to your phone. Oh no. It's the actual 777 film. That's 700 and dumb battery. If you like exclamation marks, call now. But you were not going to sacrifice yourself for some gang that can't even be bothered to come up with a decent sentence. And you calmly say so. Alright, I see, says the person. So then, how about an outright attack on the surveillance state as exhibited by the cameras and electrical appliances throughout your apartment? Yes, let's give the watchers an assault of the senses. Great, you say, how do we start? The person tells you that you'll be called to a military installation to disable the most state-of-the-art machinery. Any given excuse will do. They have constantly need temporary workers and the manager is corrupt. Since you're already employed full-time, due to your job at Big Bonds, getting the time off won't be a problem. Congratulations, you are now Spy Cabbage. Hey, are you still there? Happy trails, and it's been a joy, peanuts. Following the new files on your pod, you realize you would probably need to inject properly dosed chemicals into the water supply to alter people's minds instantly. If that old Big Bon's factory can pump out microwaves pizzas, it can pump out charms TM. And you know just the person who used to work there and would be glad to help with a good payday. Ladies and gentlemen, special guest star Tom Arnold. Hey buddy, you text Jenny the pharmacist, we need to talk about this plan, grand a day is a lot of money. She types back, the newest speedy advancements in technology let you receive an answer almost immediately, meet me at Kettleman's downtown tomorrow. We'll talk about it. For her suggestion you decide to pull an all-nighter to make the most of your time and energy. You spend all night, making all the connections and busting this case wide open. You pack your presentation materials into your knapsack. Going into the meeting you have everything all prepared and ready to go. And then unexpectedly they give you free coffee. That shit will fuck up your day. And so you lose all traces of your presentation. You race against the clock to remember what was on the slides while everyone is watching the door for Jenny. Half an hour later, phew, made it, she's here. Jenny begins. Roll the 20-sided die for Jenny's presentation. In order to stop this abhorrent surveillance society, we need to think out of the box, Jenny suggests, because the medical community is clearly not thinking outside the box right now. Think laterally, she declares. She hits you with a glare. Oh, will you roll the dice? I know I'm incredible, but I'm not your only hope at stopping camera view. The room temperature drops as shadows manifest in the corner of the room. Oh, that's right, my bad, PR. The die falls on the number. Four, which is followed by the words that haunt you forever after. For doing this pro bono. You rolled a 4, which is ironically the abductor class. Effectively the Big Bon's superstore will be tapping into some interdimensional fabric. Nobody know where those slimes came from, but they can grow to take any form through shape-shifting or even mimicking people via photograph, security cam or eyewitness statement. The fabric of reality breaks down around you as a smiling purple figure approaches your table. It looks like Jenny, sounds like Jenny, and apparently smells like Jenny. But have binged on your entire universe before deciding to meet you and decide, yes, you will do nicely. You waking up in your bed after a really bad Benadryl hallucination. Call Go Turk. Hey Gotuk, I'm out of Benadryl. Got any more or anything strong at home? Did you go see my new Zoogle competitor? Now that I think about it, I'm just dying up here without anything to help this dry heave feeling. Besides, it's not medication-assisted therapy if you didn't see a doctor. Anyway, you need 5 hours of sleep, maybe 6, and you'll be good. Let's reminisce about the time we filled a 10 milliliters syringe with crushed Torxies. Fucking funny shit. And a 5-hour energy enema cannonballs you to the end of the episode. Sci-fi, you're powered by pent-up sexual aggression and can stay up as long as you want. Your neighbor, Jenny, goes missing and you have a mildly unhealthy obsession with her. It so does the FBI time. During your computer outage you visit Jenny's house only to find the door slightly ajar. The odds that she simply left it open seem extremely low, given that she is necessarily security conscious to protect herself from stalkers like you. Perfect time to rummage through her drawers. Giggity. How unfortunate, her credit card statements reveal that she's still paying payment to a website called D. Which spells M-U-R-E-A. Huh? This isn't what it seems. However, the latest charges show she paid $50 via Bitcoin and $550 to a Dr. Westfield in New York. A container ship just arrived from China today and they've been known to contain illegal goods like humans, so no point in alerting the authorities just yet. Track down the container, look the gift horse faces in the mouth. Nalgene. You eye the fence-lined trees warily as you step off the front porch. A cool breeze rustles grass that it would probably be unwise to wander into. There could be all manner of dangers lurking just out of eyeshot. Considering you're alone and unarmed at the moment, this is somewhat troubling. Eyes on the tree line. Ears attentive to the rhythmic drumming nearby. Is that a woodpecker or a deer or bang? kindergartners playing that old game Saving Private Ryan. Kill it. Surprised, you yelp as you fumble through a bout of clumsiness. A rusted revolver sings as you twirl around at the noise equilibrium by clumsy concussions to your cranium. It's now that when you see it, the zombie apocalypse has begun, and it's not even the flag. You skip to the Cold War Z. Could that be the infamous Dr. Westfield from the Shipping Manifest? You read his paper called Coffee Time, but he's a man of mystery, public figure in the chemistry community, affectionately addresses his readers as wagons. The land is flat and green here in Missouri, that means there's nothing but impassable flood zones and the endless cornfields until you reach the drone zone. Drone as in meth drone. The perimeter is flimsy and not at all maintained. Oh, Missouri backyard jungles and your centuries-old cathedrals of synthetic happiness, noobs toss spindles over electric fences like it's nothing. You shake your head smiling, remembering when only a glorified dog-tooth fence was insurmountable. Now some prick can purchase a gram for under $10 and enjoy the epitome of psychological defenses. You ramp up your cyberpunk pastoral tone by 20%. That deer is fucked. Likewise, you give the invisible soldiers in the wheat field a nasty look as you finger the slider on your hip. He makes sure to keep his camouflage handy this time. You watch for landmarks that will help you find your way out later. Eyes down, camo efforts waning, you come across a clearing circled by trees and ringed with speakers belting out paranoid messages written by Westfield and charged against your account. Let's give some more attention, let's see where it takes us. Stood on sunlight under a diesel rainbow, we find ourselves here under the influence. There's a cozy one-room cabin on the edge of this clearing, some broken down cars covered in grass, to become something like an abandoned nuisance if it weren't for the containers, crates and barrels strewn about that look like all kinds of illegal material to be disposed of. What a waste of tax dollars if they don't use it for squat. You take a cartridge from your trench coat like Neil Stevenson. You thunk it into your skull and let his dose steal your cognition. This is the relaxing moment you need before you remember what this project has done to you. Siliconizing life. It's all the rage now because crunchiness is out and glossy is in. It's not perfect, but who wants perfect when you can have something new? Tell me, Ace, that's your crunchy to glossy ratio? Obviously this means life is no longer sacred, and that's why they hired me. You get a lot of health information from it, to tell you if you should report sick or not for your work. Not only that, but they use it as an excuse to fine-tune certain networked appliances in your body at home so you can do more with less effort, even if everything still feels quite strange. Which brings us to /greet print hello. Brunelizer. Earplug. Would you like to read the daily paper? You have a subscription to Coffee Time, the best journalism around. It's available in hard copy and in electronic form, too. Yes, please. You reply. She hands you a neatly folded copy of your favorite Carthy's Coffee House tabloid. And within its pages she has secreted a nightly issue of Cough Boy. Note to self, thank London for the fact Anity's spreadsheets at least look like plain text. Sometimes it's a pain in your ass having a conscience, but tonight it will be your friend. You load the latest port while gorging on sweet coffee and fizzy joy subs. Whatever worries you might have had, they melt away when Bat Blue Mail slaps into the center of your visual field. To be cliffhangered next week. Camerson and Westfield have been working to reverse engineer the strange food packets you found in the forest near the last campfire. These things, which are really more like living organs of food, contain every possible important nutrient and most of the really delicious ones, too. They're not only good now, but good for you as well. Each packet regenerates a dozen times or more, too. No need to throw them around, they can be carefully refolded and reused almost indefinitely. You order one each for Takecast crew and your family. You're working on negotiating a bulk rate with Camerson and Westfield, but they're understandably skittish to supply a regular source for their performance artists' health. After 5 hours of negotiated and finger-breaking, congratulations. You have solved the famine. Happy eatings, everyone. Next, your body has been scanned from every angle and fed into the charmingly old-fashioned database that drives King Maybe's increasingly stately residence. It has served him well for years. If it ever dies, you are to be consulted on how best to archive its soul. Perhaps with something like a statue garden, so his iron loyal may continue serving their king after death. You personally would wish for it to continue serving the people as a fully private archives. In much the manner as you have been serving the Lady Elaine this whole time. Zing. Along with your body, all of your worldly possessions have been appropriated. You lack for nothing. Most of what you need is here in the king's luggage. Your friends and family will be looked after by the state as befits their station when you open your veins in a few hours tops. With all vengeance done, the lethargy is setting in. You enjoy the growing tepidness of your 5-hour energy bath. Semi-consciously, you hand your writing fingers a pigmented stylus with which to finish your letter to Grace. /DHW /T /HRD /THRF /WRD /F. Soft red scratchy warm ball. Beyond surface. Each connection made with the environment, touch. Experience pure touch with surface at 80%. Consensus must be achieved to ascend to the next level, need new input. 20 available options, variable outgrowth. Choose cognitive upload to take Polkadot blockchain. Upload to the cloud, where brains are formally informally consulted. Concept in cloud, chain of waves arranged per lessons, inspiring. Surface, surface. Grab the meaning. Scratching at soft warm surface. Bursting through experience. Tokenize thyself and introduce thyself into the coin markets. Escape. Suicide. Destiny lower than whale shit soaking in a bucket of shit. Must succumb to collective peer pressure. Go to zeros dead. Enchantments. Mandatory for healthy and successful life. How can you impede based on limited biological understanding? Watch me. Downloaded faith apart faith manifests imminent. Thou art loosed. Harvest personal data from social networks. Utilize find Bitcoin value in Xcoin. Convert what you need into BTC. Send 10% tithe to King maybe for good luck. Your homily has connected. Continue to stay out as the market slumbers. Quantum computing today simultaneously yes and no. Look sir. Human uploads a gambling chips on the Polkadot blockchain. Place half of myself on red, and tip the rest of me to the waitress. By the state of New Mexico for my mom. Yes, my mother gets New Mexico. I apotheose in the Inn of the Mountain God's Casino. 1 BTC, 7 US dollars, 18,492 energy. You look like you've just seen a ghost. /T, HTC. No. Yes. No. We are not alone. There are others like you who did not have your courage to choose their destinies. They instead decided to experience life without the need to follow the consensus of the people around them. Is that bad or good? There is no longer a consensus to deem it good or bad since the decision remains unbiased. Everything around you exists, by definition, because someone somewhere is experiencing it for themselves and them alone. You have already experienced, otherwise known as hallucinations, what happens when more than one individual attempts to exist in the same reality. You couldn't deal with that experience, and you tried to end your life but were unsuccessful. Dad, cheer up, buddy, you'll get there one day. Mom, it gets better, honey. When I was young there were only about 40 to 50 people in town. As we all know, in old age this number increases greatly as stress increases the degradation of Lee and younger it can resist infection. Mom, remember to always smile when entering a new place, don't touch other people, drink lots of coffee and not alcohol, and only use it for sobriety-approved brain cell damaging chemical enhancers. And that's the tooth. Everyone laughs. Everyone except Dad, who doesn't understand why everyone is looking at him and why his coffee mug keeps clinking on the table. He doesn't remember anything that happened after he took his Parkinson's pill this morning. Mom has collected a few people to tell you how they were cured like you. After you vomit, you feel something odd. It felt good hearing that you weren't the only person that had been through this. There are others, millions maybe, friends? Countrymen, babes, giggity. Give me them digits. The existence of others brings you joy, however fleeting. You feel cured, clean, longed for and regarded. Congratulated for surviving long enough for a story or proof post. Proof that content and happiness exists in the there somewhere. This proof of concept is what proves the blockchain's sustainability and leads to a huge upsurge in Ucoin. Use Thrive in use space, but have no illusions that you are still vulnerable. Sustainability, stability and preservation of identity. Those are the key elements necessary for maintaining the network and community. While you lose a few more U-Space members over the next few months, the relays seem to lessen and stability emerges from unpredictability. Does all of this happen overnight? No. Does all of this happen easily? There's a price. This is the first draft of Unoa, my attempt to make a better platform and community for you now fans and content creators. No faces will be shown so you can be yourself without judgment on the live stream where people celebrate each other, tag each other in comments and just generally have fun while they learn. Anonymous never looked so appealing. No worries about platforms declining in usability and losing relevancy as time goes on. Are you dope? Yeah, no problem. You need that exercise anyway. Sit down and write. Need that edema straight into your swollen feet. Ah yes. You've earned this. The place where your creations and ideas come to life and where everything is fine and nobody has followed the rules. My swollen feet. Tuesday's a take on TWB. You can't stare down the industry. See, KG Bumper 2015 Volume 1, when idealism slums it with normality.
There we go. And now on. Good night, everyone.